Assalamu alaikum friends, and welcome to Pure Brain Joy. Normally, every food that we consume must have an expiry date. But surprisingly, there are some foods that don't even have expiry nor that they can't be expired. Without wasting your time, let's start. Vinegar, whether it's apple cider vinegar or rice vinegar. These acidic liquids have an indefinite shelf life. They're excellent for cooking and preserving foods. Pemmican, invented by Native American peoples. Pemmican is still a favorite of survivalists who are looking for a long-lasting, portable source of protein. Original recipes included dried meat from big game animals like elk or buffalo, which was ground into a powder and mixed with available berries and rendered fat. The finished pemmican could then be eaten raw, stewed, or fried. Today, recipes for pemmican are often slightly modified, given food safety and dietary concerns and available ingredients, but some still swear by the superfood staying power. Powdered milk. The taste isn't quite as good, but one of the main reasons that powdered milk exists is because it lasts longer. It is also easier to transport and store than fresh milk. Powdered milk lasts longer when free of moisture and oxygen. If it is in its original package and unopened, it will last longer. If you have transferred it to a storage plastic container or bag, you will effectively reduce its shelf life. Pure maple syrup. A Guide to Food Storage for Emergencies by Utah State University. It lists pure maple syrup along with other commercial sugars like honey and granular sugars as having an indefinite shelf life due to their resistance to microbial growth, including molds. The Massachusetts Maple Producers Association agrees that unopened maple syrup will last forever, but they also provide consumers with instructions should molding occur. If any harmless mold should form on the surface, merely bring the syrup to a slight boil, skim the surface, and pour into a clean container and refrigerate. Dried beans. As with the rice studies, researchers at Brigham Young University found that after 30 years, the overall quality of pinto beans decreased, but all samples were considered acceptable for use in an emergency situation by at least 80% of consumer panelists. Also, protein digestibility was found to remain stable over time. Soy sauce. It is known for its long shelf life due to the high salt content and fermentation process. Unopened, it can last indefinitely when stored in a cool, dry place. Once opened, it can last for 2 to 3 years in the refrigerator. Although the flavor may change over time, it's best to store it in an airtight container to maintain quality. If you notice any mold or an off smell, it's time to discard it. Remember, the best before date is about quality, not safety. So soy sauce can often be used beyond this date if stored properly. Sugar, due to its low moisture content and high osmotic pressure, is highly resistant to microbial growth, which means it doesn't spoil like many other foods. It can technically last indefinitely if stored properly in a cool, dry place away from contaminants. However, over time, sugar can become clumpy or harden, especially if exposed to moisture, but this doesn't mean it has gone bad. It's still safe to consume. It just might need to be broken down for use, for quality purposes. Sugar often has a best before date of about 2 years, but it can still be used beyond that time frame. Instant coffee. Absolutely. Instant coffee does have a shelf life. Instant coffee can last a really long time if you keep it dry and sealed in its original packaging. It's made by drying out real coffee into powder or granules, so when you add hot water, it turns back into a coffee drink. Because it's dry, it doesn't spoil easily. If you store it in a cupboard at room temperature, away from moisture and heat, it can last for a couple of years. But if the package is opened, it's best to use it within a few months to enjoy its full flavor, even though it might still be safe to drink after that. Just make sure the lid is closed tight after each use. Honey. Honey has been called the only food that truly lasts forever, thanks to its magical chemistry and the handiwork of bees. The nectar from flowers mixes with enzymes inside the bees that extract it, which changes the nectar's composition and breaks it down into simple sugars that are deposited into honeycombs. Fanning action from the bees' wings and the enzymes from their stomachs create a liquid that is both highly acidic and low in moisture, truly inhospitable digs for a bacterial growth. The processing and sealing of honey also adds to its indefinite shelf life. Despite being low in moisture, honey's sugars are hygroscopic, which means that they take in moisture from the air. When the heated and strained honey is sealed properly, moisture cannot be absorbed, and the honey stays the same forever. The oldest jar of the sweet stuff ever found is believed to be 5,500 years old. So, these are the foods that last forever. Hopefully guys, you have enjoyed the video. See you in the next video. Masalama.